true. Why are we playing You Make My Dreams Come True? Because it's Master It Monday. And as a coach doing a discovery call, you make people's dreams come true. Oh, what a segue.
Well, not if they can't actually make their dreams come true because maybe they're too nervous. Maybe they do all their coaching in the discovery call. Maybe they feel uncomfortable going, so
you want to play?
Yeah. People are scared.
It's hard. Yeah. Like, well, today, you know, we did discovery calls about a year ago. And we talked about the importance of discovery calls. We have a lot of new community members here. So we're going to talk a little bit about today. And a lot of coaches, a lot of consultants, and a lot of people who just like service people that, you know, a discovery call is equally as important in a different little way. But I think it's interesting because the funnel of a discovery call, and what's a discovery call essentially is
I was going to say back up for the people that may not know that term.
Right. So it's really just an opportunity to see if you are a good fit for the person that needs something and if they're a good fit for you and what you deliver. So it's not about solving their problem on the call. It's not about trying to figure out what they want because you want to pre-do that. It's just about, does this work? Like, should we work together? And it's no different than when you call anyone about anything. You know, sometimes, you know, you might be getting a quote, as I am, from painters, and you want to know if you're a fit and how do they work? And is it what you're looking for? And that's really what a discovery call is essentially, right? So discovery call is really... A lot of
people think it's a coaching call.
Yeah, that's the biggest mistake,
yeah.
Right? And then they wonder why they can't convert. I have been there. How about you, Stacey? I have made that mistake that when you're first starting out, you are so focused on making sure that you can help this person that you spend an hour coaching them and they don't need you.
Well, I've been there, done that.
Yeah, me too.
Hung up the phone and went, well, that was dumb.
Right. And I've done it. So I actually am one of those people that don't do discovery calls ever. Used to, because I get very, very excited about what I can do for somebody. And I end up telling them everything. And I've had it before. People have said to me, oh, well, I don't really need you because you've told me everything I need to do. So, which isn't exactly cool. Now, saying that, I have had, for example, I have an appliance repair guy that I've used for years. And I always call him when I need something done, if I have the appliances that he works on. And he tells me sometimes on the phone, he goes, look, Faye, try this or watch this video, see if you can fix it first, because otherwise you have to pay me to do it. So when you have an established relationship with somebody, then sometimes, you know, and you will do that. If it's an easy fix, you might just say, you know, all you need is this. You don't really need to, you know, spend your money on me. And that will come back to you in spades because, you know, my appliance guy, I trust him, right? I trust him because I know he's not trying to sell me anything. You know, the last time he fixed my oven, he said, if it breaks again, don't call me. It'll waste your money. Go buy a new one because there's no point. So you start appreciating that from people, right? I'm screwing around with my heater because I'm in the basement and it's cold.
But you know what? I also appreciate that from the consumer end as well, to be able to say, you know what, it's not worth it. It's actually going to cost you more than it will otherwise. So that can sometimes solidify the relationship right in the beginning. I've been in situations where maybe they just need that, you know, quick tip or piece of information. And I'm always happy to do that. But you're right, because what ends up happening is they're so grateful for the one thing that they needed that you end up getting multiple referrals because it's like this person, you need to go to this person. So it's like they want to give back because they've received. So it can definitely come back to you in spades.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think you have to remember that as you're the first and foremost thing you have to remember if you decide to do discovery calls, and discovery calls again is just having somebody get to know you and what you do and are you a good fit. If you decide to do those, the number one thing you have to understand is you're going into it just as much a discovery call as them. So you are not trying to sell them anything. If you're going in trying to sell them, we've talked about this before, you get really tight and you're not even focused on the problem because you're just thinking about how am I going to sell them? How am I going to sell them? If you think that, you're never going to get the order because people know it, right? I was looking, my lease is up for my car and I was at a dealership on the weekend. And I kept telling this person, the salesperson, what I wanted and what I didn't want. And he didn't listen, right? He wasn't listening to me. And then when
that's so frustrating.
And so like it is, so all I kept saying to myself was, I just want to get out of here. I just want to get out of here. I don't want to talk to him anymore because he's not paying attention to me, right? Because he's just so focused on trying to sell me anything. He's not really listening to what I want to actually, what I need to solve my problem, basically. So when you're in a discovery call, that's the number one rule. We're talking about how to convert. And so it's the subtleties that makes people want to work with you in terms of conversion, right? So yes, your goal is not to get them to buy something from you, but you have to understand that all these little things are what actually makes somebody want to work with you, right? And number one is knowing that you don't need the order at the end of it, right? You're not in there to sell them anything. So that's number one. You're going to go in relaxed and confident in what you do. If you're not confident if you get nervous about telling people, then you probably shouldn't do a discovery call. Right?
Well, I think sometimes you get into a conversation and you can feel that energy, almost like you can feel that sense of desperation that they feel like it's like, I've got my number. I've got, I need to convert. I need to make that sales call. I said I was going to do 3 and I have only converted 1. And but that comes across instead of just having a conversation with somebody about what you do, how you can help them. And how to get off the phone.
And that's like one of the problems is when people go, I have 3 calls, I have to convert one of them. Well, you're not going to convert any of them. If you literally think you have to convert one, it's not going to work. And so you have to go in there and thinking, okay, I've got a call. How am I going to help this person? Or, it might be, I don't think I can help them, but I can refer them to somebody else. And as you said, Stacey, it'll come back. So the first piece is understanding that that's what it is. So before even you have that discovery call, in order for you to be able to convert or make sure that they understand that, or you understand that it's something you can do, you need to start from the booking part. So when if you have a landing page or you have something that somebody can book a call with you, the number one thing has to be first is let them explain what they want, what their problem is. So you have a sort of a preface, right? You have something that you can start with. So it's simply just designing either an email or a questionnaire on the form that they fill out that says, what are you looking for in terms of help? What can I help you with? What are the kind of things that you're struggling with? Well, however you want to name it, depending. It's kind of like, let's go back to the appliance. When you're filling out a form, it's like, what kind of appliance do you need repaired? So right? So if
the last thing you want is for the guy to come on and start talking about a refrigerator when actually it's your washing machine that's broken.
Right.
Same concept.
And if you say, well, I need help with my espresso machine, and this guy fixes washing machines, he's going to say, sorry, I don't do that, but here's somebody that can. So if you get somebody who books a discovery call and they say, they need help with a specific piece of their business and you don't do that, then don't pretend you do. Just say, I would love to help you out, but you know what? I actually don't specialize in that. Here's somebody that can help you. Because remember, we're talking about conversion. Why would you waste your time and their time on something that you don't do? So,
Well, it's
like that,
interesting. Speaking of repair guys, there was a guy, I remember calling him about a specific problem. I can't remember what it was, maybe a refrigerator. And listening to his voicemail literally was, this is what I can do, blah, 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 blah.
yeah,
However, if you're calling about this brand, hang up because
yeah,
I don't work with that particular
yeah,
brand. Here's
true.
a very short reason why. But I love that because I was like,
Yeah,
that's awesome. I know that if I have that brand, he's not my guy, and I probably won't
yeah,
buy that brand again.
right,
But huge value just on his voicemail.
right.
It was
And that's
perfect.
what you have to. So for those of you who are sitting there as coaches, I'd say you're a business coach and you go, well, I work on everything. Okay, we talk about niching and niching all the time. You can't say that. There are things that are there that you're not so good at, or that is probably not your specialty. So make sure that you get that out there first, so that, as this guy did, that there isn't somebody who has, really high expectations and then they come in and they're not met. And I've had, I had 3 discovery calls for a client of mine. So I'm trying to put together a new system for them. And they were wildly different. And they all had the same type of forms. Like, I gave them the information they asked. And the first call I had, he didn't read it because he asked me the same questions. And I'm like, well, didn't I answer those questions for you? Like, and I call people out on it, right? And he's like, well, let me go over it. I go, no. Like, I already answered those questions for you. And it was really, then on top of all that, I already had told them what I needed. And he was just like an intake discovery call. And he wanted to set me up with somebody else. And I was like, no, I just want somebody that can answer my questions. So boom, he was out. Second guy, same thing. Like, I told him what I didn't want. He told me that's who he worked with. And I was like, okay, I can't work with you. But he was like, no problem. Great. He told me right away. And that was fine. The third guy was like gold. He was like, it's like Mama Bear, Papa Bear, Baby Bear.
This one's just right.
So, but that was cool because he actually read, he knew what I needed, and he sent it to me exactly how I wanted it before we got on a call. So, I mean, for you, it's really, you need to understand, if you guys are doing discovery calls, what does the person need help with? A lot of people will train you to say, just book everything. Book it on every call that you can. And then when you get on, then you can say, what is not working for you? This is what you always hear. You ask the question, what's not working for you in your business or in your life? It's very canned. And it's very hard to answer for most people. I don't believe in that question. I want to be more specific. So if you've asked that in advance, when you get on this very short call, because it's not a coaching call, you'll be able to get right to their problem. And you'll be able to know if you guys are a good fit, right?
But I think the one thing that I appreciate, which is what you had said, was the being prepared. So if they're coming to me going, well, I see that you said this, I see that you're, in this area, or this is your type of business or whatever, and they already start like you're already in the middle of the conversation. I love that because it shows that, number one, I put the effort in to answer those questions. And number two, they put the effort in to actually read the questions. So now we can make the call a little bit more efficient. I think that is a huge help when it comes to converting, because I'm like, okay, you've already put in the time.
Right.
Like, I love that because I know I think there was one person, I remember, this is back when we did in-person calls, and they actually came to do kind of a mini discovery kind of thing in person. And they had so much information. They had looked at my LinkedIn profile. They knew who I was. They had already looked at the questions. So there was very minimal amount of questions, but then they were like, can you just expand? So it was a great conversation. It was a great beginning to the relationship. So to me, that's a huge one for me. Yeah.
And if people just want to talk, then that's not coaching, that's therapy. There's 2 different things, right? And so for those of you who are therapists, you can leave this training. Those of you who are, I can't help you. Stacy can't help you. We are not therapists. So can help you with coaching only. So the goal is for when somebody finally gets into the session with you, remember, you're only talking 15 minutes, maybe 30 minutes tops. An hour, if you talk for an hour, then that's a coaching session and that's not appropriate. So
What's
you're
a good
really
length of time for a discovery call?
15 minutes to 20 minutes is it. Because in 15 minutes, remember, you've already predefined what they're looking for, right? So you already know what they're looking for. You immediately know if you can help, right? And that's what, when we talk about converting, when we immediately know that we can help them, then it's easy to show people what we can do to help them, right? So that's the whole goal of predefining. And, you can make it so that they are forced to answer that question, right, on a question required before that can be booked, or you can do it in afterwards and send them an email. However, if you send them an email, you have to make sure that it's still required. So if you don't get their answer back, you cancel the session. You must have them speak to you in advance of what they want. That's absolutely the number one piece of advice that I can give you. And then once you get on the call, you have really 3 objectives. You want to get clarity on their goal, you want to get clarity on their problem, and you want to get clarity on the solution. That's what what's going to happen in that call. So their goal clarity is simple. You'll know what they want based on the information. So then you're going to repeat it back to them. You're going to go, okay, I'm really excited about being here with you. I think, this is a great opportunity to meet, see how we both interact, see if we're right for each other. So if I'm correct, you need help with your brand. Let's just say an example. You're not sure if your brand is clearly defined for what you do. So immediately you'll know if that's absolutely what they want to help with, right? Done. Goal. Then we move to the problem. So the problem, if I understand this correctly, is you don't really know what the right colors are, if it's visual, what your signature message should be, whatever it is within the brand, they've already defined it. So that's that's really what you're looking for. This is your problem. And because of it, you're not gaining customers. Is that correct? And they'll say yes. So again, you're getting yeses. You're confirming the goal, you're confirming the problem, and then you're going to do the solution. So as you talk, you're going to say, so if I understand this correctly, this was your goal, this was the problem. So if I could map out a solution for you to get you the clients because they'd understand what your message is that what you're looking for? It's all an agreement. And then, so now you've agreed, and then you're going to go to walk them through your plan of action, right? That's where the conversion starts. So what do most people do? They do the goal, they do the problem, they do the entire solution, and then they don't need you. Or they never do the solution. They don't even tell you. A lot of coaches say, yeah, I can help you with that. So here's my fee. Why would I sign up for you if you didn't even give me a little information?
Know what I'm getting for that fee. It's just that you can help, and that's how much it's going to cost. So,
like, where is the map, right?
And the money conversation is a really interesting one, because I think it was literally on Friday just past on a potential client call. And it was just so, like, we'd kind of talked about, again, all of that agreement. We'd kind of gone through that whole process. Yeah, thank you so much. Gave them one tip that they could do. They were like, that's amazing, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, towards the end, they're like, and I was just about to kind of say, well, and here's what's going on. But she wanted to ask a question. And the way that she asked it was like, oh, like, I'm really sorry. Like, I need to ask, like, how much is this going to cost? And I was like, well, that's okay. And then we just had an open conversation about, like, here's what's going on. And they became more relaxed, because I was like, everyone really hates asking about money. That's where I think a lot of people start to sort of fall down in the conversation, because they don't want to talk money.
Right.
And the person doesn't want to like, the potential client doesn't want to ask about money. So I think they end up getting off the call, and then you're left with, well, that wasn't successful.
No. And it's because it's your fault. You are in control as the coach of this session. You're in control. You should give them all the information. Now, you're going to get different advice if you listen to different people give you advice on discovery calls. Some people will say they'd rather send, they don't want to talk about money and they'd rather send a contract. No. Tell them up front. Why would you, I don't like that. You don't like that. You want to know what you're paying for something. I'm not a big fan of getting something later. I get it if it's involved and it's a complicated quote, that's one thing. But if it's a standard coaching package and you know what you're doing, then you shouldn't be doing that. So your purpose after you've done the solution, remember we said, is if I could solve this, was that what you're looking for? And they would say, yes, that would be great. So you're going to say, okay, well, let me explain what the plan of action is. And the plan of action is really simple. This is what happens next. We would agree that, it's going to take you 4 sessions. It's going to take you 1 month, 4 sessions, once a week to be able to figure this out. And this is how I do it. I speak with you once a week. I give you 3 things to do. You go do them. The next week we follow up. My expectation is that you would do that work when I tell you to do it. Your expectation is I'm very specific in giving you that work. And then what's going to happen is, here's the milestones, week 1, 2, 3, 4, if that's your plan, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. This is what the map looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4. When you finish on the 5th day, on the 5th week, so 4 weeks in, this is what your return on investment is going to look like. So this is where you talk about money. So you can either go right into it and say, look, a 4-week package with me will cost $1,000. And at the end of it, you will have got all your branding done, et cetera, et cetera. There will be nothing else for you to do. Your problem will be solved. So your return on investment will be massive. So I think this is a really good fit. Would you like me to put the paperwork together? Let's pick out a date and we can go ahead and sign you up to be one of my clients. Does that work for you? Or do you have any questions?
Perfect.
They might say, I want to think about it. No problem. You want to think about it? Not a problem at all. I don't like when it says, well, you know what? If you don't make your mind up today, I can't give you this deal.
I hate those. It's like, I'm holding it for like 5 minutes and you have to make a decision right now.
No. And you can absolutely say, and I've said this in the past, which is the truth. I simply say, look, I have 1 spot in the next month. So if that goes in the next couple of days, not a problem. You'll just have to wait a month to get me again. And that's fair. And that's not a pressure thing. That's like, you can't wait indefinitely for somebody to make a decision if you only have 1 slot, right?
Yeah, that's different. Yeah.
But I mean, be honest. You have to show them their roadmap, what it looks like at the end. Did you solve their problem? Do you have a specific map that tells them that it'll be solved? Remember, you're not going to tell them every step because this is not a coaching call.
Yeah.
What you're telling them to do is the map of what to expect. And at the end, this is what it's going to look like.
And that's not huge. I just love the honest part. I love the fact that there's multiple places to have different conversations, but it also, like, the ball is then in their court because you've given them all of the information. I don't like it when I'm left in the lurch or with questions and I kind of get off and I'm like, I don't even know if that's going to work for me. I don't understand. Now I have to wait for an email and then you have to follow up. And then you're sitting there going, are you going to send me the information? Yeah. The only time that, the situation that I get into is, we have that whole conversation and it's like, can you just send me an email just so that I have all the details?
Right.
So again, no problem.
Absolutely.
Here's what we talked about, confirming price. And then they're always really good with, okay, I'm just going to, I'll let you know by a certain date. Yeah. And then do you follow up after that? Because sometimes things get lost in email land.
It depends on how you structure your follow-up. So I have very specific emails that I would follow depending on what I'm talking about. But I like to do everything online like you, Stacey. And so we would send you a link to our whatever we're a package or whatever, it would be for you. It would give you everything that's included in your coaching package. So if it was a 4-week, you can just simply say, look, I'm going to write this up for you. I'm going to send you a private link. It's usually one that you already have and you're just duplicating for other clients. So it's not a lot of work. You don't want to spend work doing a whole proposal because most of the time, a lot of the times they're not going to go through with it depending on, where they are in their financial situation. So you don't want to spend another hour doing that. So you don't want to be specific in the package. It's specific in terms of what's included. So 4 weeks, 1 call a week. This is what we do. Boom, boom, boom. There's no promise at the end of where they're going to be because you can't do that because you don't know if they're going to do the work, right? So all you can say is, I'm committed to these hours. This is what we're going to do. This is the price. You can go ahead and if you have that, you can give them the link right away. You can send them an email confirming what you talked about, what their goal was, what their problem was, the solution, and here's the link. And very clearly, again, say it's here for, it's your link. It's here for 7 days or 14 days, whatever you want to say. And, we can discuss again if you're not ready now. But I don't know when that future is going to be. And it doesn't mean that you're going to have space for them in 6 months, right? You don't know that. Right now, when you're having that call, you might have a space. But recommend in terms of follow-up, I would recommend sending the email, waiting a couple of days, following up again, because you've given them, you have set, you're talking to other people, and then follow up 1, 2, or 3, and that's it. If they don't answer you, they're avoiding you, right? So, 1, 2, and 3. These days with emails, with text, with everything else, you can tell if somebody's reading your email. You can tell if somebody's opened your text. So, the third email is really simple. It's just, I just want to confirm that you've got this and it's not going to your junk, right? And that's it. And, but that's it. Don't chase people. If they don't want you, they don't want you, right? That's okay. Sometimes haven't you ever got off a call that you thought it was a great fit and then they just never called you back? You were ghosted? I have.
Yeah. Therefore, you weren't a good fit. But you're right, because again, that sense of desperation comes through when you start chasing, and you realize, well, do you have any other clients? Because all you seem to be doing is chasing me. Yeah. And you're just trying to set that up. So I'm with you. I just like the open conversation. I think the talk of dollars can make people nervous, but if you can just get over that piece and make it a casual conversation, and this is what I charge, and you're not
that's when you'll convert. Yeah.
And you don't want to say like, I'm sorry, I do charge like $1,000 an hour. You know what I mean? Yeah, you don't want to do that. No, be confident with your prices, be confident what you say. It's their decision. But if they know, and that's what I like about your lead up, is that if they know what the value is going to be and they know what they're going to get, then they can make an educated decision. And money then becomes secondary, because the value and the progress that they're going to make in the sessions with you is going to trump the dollar value that's associated with it.
Yeah. And you know what? Here's the thing, because I know some people who are watching this are asking these questions, which is simply like, what if you do all that and they say, well, I can't really afford that. Can you do cheaper?
No. Love that one.
No, and be very honest again. Look, I understand. Well, this is what I do. I'm very good at it. Right. I know I can help you. And, if you want to invest in a solution, this is what I can give you. I don't do discounts. You might offer payment plan if you want. If you have, if there's 4 sessions and you split it into the 4, that's fine. Whatever you decide to do. But don't get into that thing. Or, they might say, well, I was talking to another coach and they're half your price. And I would say, then you know what? If price is more important to you than what I've laid out as your map, then I would say, then go ahead and take price. But I would question you. The only thing I would question them back is simply, I would just say, have they laid out everything they're going to do to solve your problem? Because sometimes when it's cheaper, as we all know, the solution
for sometimes.
Yes. I mean, and there's other problems like, well, it's not a good time, and you can do the old sales pitch, well, what time would be good for you? What can I do to make you say yes today? Like all those old salesy things, I don't use any of those.
Yeah.
I just really say, honestly, I'm just honest with everybody. If I'm your fit, cool, let's get started. If not, it's not a good time, that's okay. And if you need to be somewhere that's not as expensive, okay. And you're not sure yet, you have to deal with your husband or whatever, okay. Because you will learn, you guys know, there are people out there that will teach you how to handle that objection, right? Like you have to check with your husband. There's a whole book of how to deal with that objection. And I'm not into it. If somebody says that, I can say anything I want to delay, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I used to. When you're not as confident, you use those things, right? But, when like I'll go back to the dealership when he said, what about this? I go, listen. And I told him, you're not listening. I don't want any of that. Right? I don't want any of that. Stop talking about engines. I don't care. I don't care. Here's what I want. I want this kind of car in this monthly payment. Mm-hmm. So don't try to sell me something else. If you can't do it, I'm good. Right?
Yeah, but again, it's that old style sales tactic. What will it take to get your butt in that seat?
Yeah, if I can get you an extra $4,000 for your car, will you sign it today? This is what he said to me. And I said, no. He just looked at me. He goes, but that's what you wanted. And I go, I get it. If you get me this car in this price range, that's what I want. I'm still going to leave and think about it and then call you. Because I do not like to be pressured in that moment. So I never expect people to sign up with me if I'm coaching in that moment. This is what I say. Great. And they'll be like, oh, I really like what you all say. I always say, I have a 24-hour rule, which is true. You guys all know, whoever coached with me, you know my rule. I have a 24-hour rule. Go back, look at the link, see if it's a fit, click the button. And then they'll be like, but you're going to take me for sure, right? Even if I have to wait, I go, I will promise you that. That's the promise I make. But I want you to leave and think about it and understand, because when you're putting your money out, I want you to feel good about it, right?
You want them to get excited. Absolutely. And no matter what, I always just want to go back. I always want to take a look at links, just, rethink, just make sure it's the right fit. But I also want other people to do that as well. And sometimes they've been really honest and said, I'm actually talking to somebody else similar to you.
Great.
Awesome. Make sure you ask this question, this question, this question, this question.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, thank you.
So I guess that the big thing is, if you don't like to make decisions right away, why would you think other people would? Mm-hmm. Like, why do they have to get the pressure into making the decision if you want to be able to step back and go? And I always do that. There's people that there are things that I buy right away. I know I want it. That's it. But even those things, I always step back, unless I'm in on a line online trying to get a PlayStation 5.
Auction. I'm going to buy right now.
Or an auction, which I did last week. But you always have to step back and go, is this a fit? Do I want it? Does this make sense? We sell a program that's called Global Impact Accelerator. We have a lot of students, and there's so many people that get really excited about it. And it's a phenomenal program if you want to get out there and be visible and have impact. But here's the thing. We always say, take a look through the entire sales page. Look through every single thing. Make sure that you're willing to do the work, because we know it works, but it's not magic fairy dust. You don't click the buy button, the fairy dust come down, and then you're done. You actually clicking the button is the first step. Then you have to do the work.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so
that way we're not selling fairy dust.
no, and we're very confident in what we sell, so we don't worry about that. Make sure you click now. Make sure you click now. Now, do we offer certain promotions at certain times because we want to get more people in a group at that time? Yes, we would do that. That's a bonus for acting at a certain time. Why do we do that? Because if we're relaunching a program, or we're doing it twice a year and we include live training at that time, that's the only time you can get it, right? So that would motivate you to do something. But we tell you in advance, you got 2 weeks to think about it. It's not like press that button now.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess it's the scarcity, it's the that pressure of, 2 hours left, and you get those emails, right? 2 hours left, a half an hour. I'm extending it by 15 minutes. Okay, you have 5 more minutes. I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah.
If I didn't, because for me, if I didn't press the button already, telling me that I only have an hour left isn't going to make me press that button.
No. And we use countdown timers, but we tell you when we're starting something. So we'll say, you got 2 more hours left before our open house is on, or you have 2 more hours before the wine club starts. It's not to get you to make sure you buy at that second. It's to let you know that we've done everything we can.
Yeah, reminder, but that's a reminder, not that high pressure. But when you're in a discovery call, how do you end the call? Because I know that can get kind of awkward when you're, talking, you've had the great conversation, you're a good fit. Maybe they want to think about it. You've already discussed price. Sometimes it's like,
I would just simply just ask the question. So, is the price good for you? If they haven't said anything, they said that's reasonable, whatever. So just say, okay, so we both agree that this is the right thing to do. We've mapped it out. You're good with the price. Do you want me to sign? Do you want the link now? We can go ahead together as we're online, and I can walk you through signing up so that you can start with a date that you want. I'll walk you through. Right? I'll share my screen, and some people will say great, because some people get lost in the mechanics
technology,
of signing out, right?
Yeah.
Because you want to do this and you're ready to go, and I can see how excited you are. Absolutely. And then, and if they say, I'm not sure, just say, no problem. I'll send you a follow-up email tomorrow. And then you can look through it, and I'll get back to you in a couple of days just to make sure that you don't have any other questions. And that's it.
Perfect.
That's it. And if they have questions and they say, can we book another call? The answer is no. Okay. The answer is no. You have to simply say, if you want to keep that conversation going, just say, feel free to email me any questions you want. I only keep a certain limited, discovery call times open, because here's the thing. There are people that all they do is discovery calls. Right?
Well, because they look at it as coaching.
Right.
Right. So they continue to book, because a lot of people do like a 45-minute discovery call. So it's like a mini coaching session along with a discovery call for 45 minutes. And you're right. There's people who book multiple of those to try to get as much free as they can. And that's why it's a discovery call, not a coaching call.
Right. And you can call it, if you want a mini coaching call, then call it a mini coaching call. Right? Or discovery call, like whatever you want to call it, but call it what it is. A discovery call is that I'm discovering whether you are a good fit for me and I am a good fit for you. We're discovering, we're not coaching. And so if you go into something thinking you're doing a coaching call, you will never convert. If you're going into something saying that, let's see if we're a good fit, and if we are, we can work together, you're going to convert, because you don't have, remember we talked about that at the beginning, it's that whole tightness, right? If you're going in, you're loose and you're like, I don't need this call. I hope I can help this person, but I'm not going to worry about whether I get the call or not. It's going to go so much better. You're going to feel relaxed. There are, if you just stick with the basics of, you get the goal clarity, the problem clarity, solution clarity, and then show them the map. If you can just remember those, you don't have to be nervous, because it's not like I have to put a sticky note to remember those, right? Because what's the purpose of the call. So is there scripts to help you? Sure, of course there is. I have, we have a whole course on coaching and certifications, and that's all part of it. And we have Trello boards that walk you through all the coaching specifics that you need. But that's not important. The important part is understanding that you can help this person because you've prefaced it so that they have answered the question. And, in some instances, you might meet somebody at a networking event when things open up, and you might do the questionnaire before the discovery call right there in person. They might answer you right there, so you don't need to do more. You can just say, "Cool, let's just book a call," right?
Which is perfect. Yeah,
but and that's ideal. To know. Like when somebody says, "I need a business coach," don't take the call. What do you need a business coach for?
There's lots of aspects of business that different coaches can help you with. Absolutely. Yeah. And I think the other piece, I lost my train of thought, but I think the other piece is,
and it was brilliant.
I'm sure it was always brilliant. Absolutely. Is the customer sometimes feels, or the potential customer sometimes feels nervous about booking a call because they know or feel that it's going to be a sales pitch.
Yeah.
So how do they position that call so that they know it's not going to be a sales pitch, but yet they still need to convert them into a client? Is there anything sort of before the call that they can do so that maybe they would convert more?
It's the same when they answer your questions. You can do the same thing back. Here's what to expect in our discovery call. And it can be a very generic email that you send everybody, right? It can be a very generic, that's auto-generated, so you don't have to create new emails every time, but it's simple. Here's what we cover in our discovery call. What I'd like you to do, and I have a full email that I used to send out that I now give to all my clients. There's a full email that says, here's what to expect in our discovery call. This is my expectation of you. You'll be you've answered the questions. You know specifically what you need to do. You've put it in your calendar. You'll make sure that you are ready for the call 10 minutes prior to our call. The call will last 15 to 20 minutes. We'll go over ensuring that we understand your goal, your problem, your solution, and the map. And then I will ask your permission to go through what I believe may be a solution if we come to it. And then we'll go from there. So you're already asking. So when you're in that solution phase, right, when you're talking, you're asking, okay, I've got all this. Do I have permission to let you know what it would look like, what my solution would be for you? And that's when you map out your whole piece. But they know going into the call what it's about. If you don't want to do it on an email, you can put it right on the discovery page, right? Wherever you ask them to book, here's what you can expect in a discovery call. So there's no surprises, right? You
don't like surprises when they say one thing and it's like, oh, I'm going to give you my 3 strategies or whatever. And then you get on the call and they barely talk about that. And they just continually pitch you on trying to sign up for the program, or they hire, I call them little minions. And you end up getting a call with the minion, and the minion doesn't know anything except to sell the program that they're trying to sell you to, in the group coaching or something along those lines.
We had that, right, when we were trying to do a discovery call for something that we were interested in, and we got somebody that didn't give us any information.
Yeah, we got a minion.
I don't want to talk to minions. No, it's you have to clearly understand the ramifications of what you offer, right? If that's what you're doing. So some of us, discovery calls, that's why I don't offer them. I don't have the time, and I don't take very many clients. So, but you have to understand that I get it. Some coaches are very busy, and in order to field, they have these minions do their calls. But here's the thing. Here's what happens. That's what happened to Stacy and I. We booked a call with somebody. We got a minion. We had no faith in the person that we actually wanted to talk to after that, because we were so disappointed that it was just kind of a schlocky kind of like get in the funnel. And we didn't want to talk to him after that. So
no, but if you preempt it with, you're going to talk to a minion or you're going to talk to a member of our team,
yes,
then I know going in that it's not you.
right.
I know I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to somebody else who can pre-qualify. And that's okay. If you want to have that pre-qualification conversation first, so it's like you're going to set up an just make it clear.
Yeah.
Because that to me will make a successful call that will convert more.
It's just a different type of funnel where I'm asking you to do it on your form or do it in an email. What they're doing is asking those questions live in advance, right? But for me, which is fine, it works, it's great. But for me, it's just one more step that I have to like book that call and then book another call, like to get the other call. Like for me, it's a lot. But as long as I know that in advance, that's okay. But you can't just, do the bait switch, right? Like here, this is what I'm gonna give you, and then switch it over to, because this is what a lot of them get. You get, I'm going to tell you this and this and this. And then when you get in the call, all they talk about is, I'm going to cover all that. You just have to buy the program. Right. That's so for example,
that's not a good one. I don't enjoy that when people do that.
We have a discovery call on our program and it's specific on it is to, if you have questions about the program.
And it is with a member of our team. And it says it right there, which means it's not a discovery call. It's not a coaching call. It is a Q&A call with a team member, but it's very clearly laid out so that they know what to expect.
Yeah. So if you've been very clear, you've been very honest, you've been very upfront, there's nothing hidden. You're not trying to like slam down every single sale that comes through. You are going to convert at a higher level. And that person, if they appreciated everything you did for them and they really can't afford it, who are they going to come to when they can? They're going to come to you.
Or who are they going to refer to somebody else when they know that person could be of benefit?
Yeah. I mean, I've had people that came to me years after I met them. I didn't even remember them. Years after they said, I'm ready to coach with you. And I was like, cool. Like, I don't remember what I said. I don't remember anything, but they were appreciative of the time that I did spend with them. And so that's what makes the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I just like the upfrontness. I think that's my biggest pro is that I like the honesty in the beginning. I like the upfront communication, preparedness. And then I'm probably like 90% of the way through the door, even before we get on the call. So if the call is a bait and switch, I'm out. But if you confirmed, you showed up prepared and we have a good conversation because I've already done my research. Because I think some of the onus on that does need to be the client.
Of course.
They need to do some of that. And I think the other challenge is that you've said it a few times, but just to make it, it's also your call. Like it might not be a good fit for you if you don't think that working with this person, if you don't feel that they're going to do the work, or if you don't feel that your time is going to be well spent, I think that's okay too. And I think sometimes they get into the point where they're nervous but wait, it's a client. It doesn't matter, but it does. And if you have the integrity to be able to say, you know what, actually, I don't think this is a good fit. I'm going to refer you to somebody else. You get more out of that in the end as well.
Yeah. Because do you really, if you know that it's not a good fit, do you want to spend your time with somebody that's not a good fit? It's not going to benefit either one of you.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not
do I have to get on a call today?
And sometimes it's just the type of person, right? It's not that you can't help them. Like there's lots of people that you can help, but you just work differently. Right. Yeah. I'm not as I said, I'm not a therapy person. I don't do that well. I just tell you what you should do. Go do it. Right. Yeah. If you want to talk a lot, I'm not the person. I'm a person that will tell you what to do. So if that's not you, then you need to go to somebody who's really good at talking a lot. And there's a lot of great coaches that are like that. I just don't happen to be one. So I will recommend, but it's like, I know who I am, right? Yeah. And why would I, just because you see my stuff and you might say, oh, I really want to work with her. do you? Are you willing to, when people show up on my coaching calls and they haven't done the work, I say, okay, well, then call me back when you've done the work. Don't waste my time for an hour just because you booked me. If you haven't done it.
I've been there. It's not good to be on the other end of that, by the way. But it's true. But guess what? What that did, number one, I realized that that's my bad. And number two, I damn well did the work next time because I want to make sure I take advantage of that call. So again, some of the onus also needs to be on the client. But I guess the biggest, is to not have that desperation.
But what it comes down to is that you have to be good and confident with what you do, who you want to work with, and not be desperate. And if you have that going for you, you will get so many clients. But you know what? When you're struggling going, I can't, I've had all these calls and nobody's coming through. Maybe you should question why.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think the more confident you come across, almost like, and you don't want to say, I don't need you as a client.
No, that's not what we're saying.
Don't say that at all, because you do want to say, absolutely, I'm open for this.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's like, you don't feel like you have to sign them. Somehow there's just that different vibe that this is a conversation.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. And if I asked you a question, if somebody asked you, well, what's the plan and what do you charge for that? In a coffee conversation that's not the client, you'd very easily say it. So you just need to transfer that over and be able to have that conversation and then end it with, do you have any more questions?
Exactly.
What do you want the next step to be? Put that ball in their court and make sure that you do have the follow-up. Because you're right, sometimes emails do end up in junk.
Yep.
So to say, and just want to make sure you received the information. Are you all good? Do you have any more questions?
Yeah. Yeah, not like, is there any, because, a lot of people, when they don't get that answer back, they immediately send an email going, is there something you don't like about the proposal? Right?
Yeah. You assume it's you. It's not you. No, it's them. And that's them. Okay.
So don't think that, you're, because what do people try to do is they try to cut their prices then, right? Because they want the deal. And there's nothing worse than finding out that you gave a deal to one person and not another. Oh, that's not good.
That
stick with your number
very, very badly.
Very badly. So stick with your number. This is what I charge. Again, you want to do specials for a certain group, an organization. You want to do a special for somebody, but it's not it's there. It's not, you're not hiding it, right? Like if you have a certain group that you say, okay, for this group, I'm going to do an extra coaching session or something because their whole group is purchasing your coaching, fine. But don't pretend, or don't say, well, because, you came through somebody, I'm going to give you, 20% off. That's just silly. It's silly. Yeah. Your number's your number. Your number's your number, guys.
Well, and plus the fact that you'll forget what your number is if you start to go, well, this person I quoted this and this person I quoted that. Then you sent the proposal back and going, can you remind me what I charged? That just makes it sound.
Yeah. What did I quote you? Like when somebody says, what did I quote you? Run. Run.
Keep going. Absolutely. So I think we're good. I think we know how to, what I like is the fact that a lot of people focus so much on the end and how I'm going to convert. But if you actually set it up properly right in the beginning, which is expectation, preparedness, and ensure that you're running that call, your actual end of the conversation will be more successful if you do all the pre stuff, as opposed to, okay, I'm just going to do this and change what I do at the end, or kind of kick up that sales pitch.
Yeah, your end of the conversation.
Back it up and do things.
Yeah, the end of the conversation will simply be, when do you want to start? Because you'll already have talked about any of the issues. So it won't even be about, most of the time, it won't even be about the decision. It's like, when do you want to start? Again, with me, it's like, think about it again. I like to do that. Think about it and then let me know. Anytime I ever say that, people always come back to me because they appreciate the fact that I've let them leave and make their decision, right? Because who wants
it takes that pressure off too, right?
Wants to feel like they let's go to the car salesman. Let's say I signed it and I walk out of the door and then I'm like, oh, I wish I
Wish
hadn't done that.
that. Yeah.
Right? Because I did. I was looking at some of the stuff he was showing me and thinking about it, and I knew I didn't want it, but I was still looking at it going, well, could he have enticed me? Well, he couldn't, because I don't usually get enticed like that. But let's say, you could have said, I can solve all your problems to somebody, and they're in it and they're like nervous, so they need to sign because they're like, oh my God, this is the perfect person, the perfect fit for me. I better sign right now. If somebody says to you, you have to sign right now, again, I'm one of those people that would tell you, don't.
Yeah.
Don't. If somebody's pressuring you, like you have to sign today because I have all these people in my wait list, leave. They're not the right person for you. They're not.
Yeah. If they're not giving you that opportunity to at least look, think, whatever.
And some of some of these programs that there's some that are like $25,000 and they pressure people in group situations to sign. Remember, there was one that people went to this free event and it was $30,000 and they'll help you write your book. Remember, but you had to sign.
I remember hearing about that one.
You must sign then in order to get all these like bonus things. And people signed up, and one of my clients did, and they called me and I said, are you out of your mind? First of all, you don't even have a book right now to write. $30,000. Like, fortunately enough, in Ontario, you have a 10-day period, a cooling off period where you can get out of deals, right? So, I don't
like that kind of group pressure where it's, okay, well, everyone else has signed up. You're the only one that hasn't. And the peer pressure kicks in. And I know they end up making sales, but the reputation ends up getting super very tarnished, and you don't ever recommend them. So they're constantly having to look for new people.
Right.
But yet if they had the integrity, the referrals would come in spades.
Yeah. And it's, like we teach launches, and there's, like I said, there's launch timetables that you can offer bonuses and stuff, but it's not like immediate. It's not like, okay, sign up for my coaching session right now or you don't get anything. It's like, okay, you have 48 hours before it expires. By that, go home, think about it, do what you want. And then that's it. And stick to it. Yeah. Don't be one of those ones that says, okay, after this, it's done. Like if you're offering a bonus for watching a webinar, which we do sometimes, watch the webinar. And if you watch it and purchase in like 48 hours, you get this extra bonus. Why do we do that? Because we've already pre-framed that everything there is to know. The webinar was important to us, that you understood it and you want to move forward. And then now when you're purchasing, it's legit. It's not like, oh my God, I have to do it in the next 42 minutes or the deal is gone. No, you're never going to see that from us. You'll know in advance.
I don't like that.
Yeah. So try to do the same thing, guys. Think about what you want and then do the same for your customers, and then they will convert.
Couldn't have said it better. All right. Thanks, guys.
All right.